Welcome back, friends. Yesterday we did the part first of the network layer, and because I already told you that the network layer is the backbone of this OSI model, or you can say that entire network is based on this particular network. So yesterday we covered the two main applications which are responsible for by the network layer. One was the path determination and second was the routing algorithm. So first of all, the routing algorithm, the different type of routing algorithms were there, and among them the protocols was selected. One of them, basically we discuss the four algorithm there, and among those four, only a single protocol can be selected for manufacturing, for developing a particular software or a particular product. So based on the different type of the application, different type of the scenario, one particular routing algorithm is selected. Then the path is determined. Path is determined by the virtual circuit. Virtual circuit was created for the time being, and after the data transfer is completed, that circuit is again teared down. That's why it was called the virtual circuit, because it was not the permanent type of circuit and the not physical connection established permanently over there. So the concept was the three-way handshake was there, and following those three-way handshake, we perform the actual data transfer. Now, there is a disclaimer also that in the last video, the last 2 minute part was the not be audible, not audible, because there was some glitch in the our mic. So today we will start with that. The first topic was the logical addressing. We will start with the first topic, the logical addressing. I already told you that the logical addressing is apart from the physical addressing, the MAC addressing, which is the permanent type of addressing. Is apart from that, there is another type of addressing system is there, and that is called the logical addressing. It is based on the computer is placed at what particular network. Depending on the network, it is to be connected. The computer is to be connected to the mobile also, is to be connected. Depending on that particular scenario, we choose the different addressing schemes there. So the IP addressing is, that's why called the logical addressing. So logical addressing is again the logical addressing is another application by the network layer. It was the third. Of course, packetization is also application in the network layer. We will discuss also here, but logical addressing, the IP addressing is very important to be learned. That why a particular single class is been dedicated to this particular topic, IP addressing. IP addressing has basically two types. There are two versions, IPv4 and there is another IPv6. IPv4 is very popular. Nowadays it is prevailing in the market. We are also all are using this particular IP addressing scheme. But in the future, and because it has been started, so the future is on the IPv4. Why IPv6? Why IPv6 is more important? We will discuss it also. But to begin with, we are starting with the IPv4. IPv4 stands for the Internet Protocol version 4. 4. Now the meaning of 4 is, it is a 4-bit addressing system. 4-bit addressing system is 0 to 31. That means it's so many bits are there. 32 bits are there, and these 32 bits are divided in 4 octet. 4 octet means first octet is for this one, second octet is this one, one byte piece, 1 byte, then another octet, and again the fourth octet. So this will constitute a 32-bit system, and in using this 32-bit system, the all logical addressing is accomplished with the IPv4. The notation is like 255.252.191.205, like this. Why this number is selected? What is the dot? What is the importance of this dot? Dot is the notation in which this particular IP is designated. It is the notation. So 4-octet notation is been distributed or maybe separated by this dot. Why I am saying that this particular number not more than 255 number, maximum limit is 255, because using a 8-bit system, 2 raised to the power 8 means 256 combinations can be there, and when we start with the 256, then the starting is 0 to 225. That means again this 256 combinations can be formed starting from the 0, and it will end up to the 255. So the maximum limit is been I have already placed in this particular octet. It is for the example purpose only. Now again in the second particular octet, I am writing 252. 252 means it is admissible because it is not exceeding the limit of the 255. In again the third one, because all the octet are about the 8 bit, that means 1 byte. So maximum limit can be accommodated over there for the 255 only. If someone is like saying 295, that means this notation is somewhat wrong, because this particular number, number cannot be adjusted, cannot be accommodated in the octet. Octet maximum limit is 255. So this thing you have to keep in the mind. Now depending on this particular scenario, there are 4 types of classes. 4 types of classes are there. Maybe it is again a 5 class, but we are discussing with the 4. Fundamentally and normally, commonly the awareness is among the people is the 4 classing system is there in the IPv4. So class A, again it is 4-bit system, 32-bit is following, IPv4 is discussing over here. So the first particular octet, this octet, this one octet in this scheme was saying that if the limit is 20 to 127, if this is the number is assigned in this particular octet, so we will say it is a class A type of notation. In the class A, the first octet was the computer network octet. Rest of all was the host or computer addressing system. These 3 octet were designated for representing the host, and the first octet was designated for the computer network itself, and its limit was only up to the 0 to 127. So if I am writing a particular addressing like 92 dot is there, 168.16.207, 92 is admissible because it is again smaller than the 255 limit. So 168 is again permissible, 16 is again in the third octet is permissible, and again in the last octet the 207 is saying that it is also, but these three are the representing the computer addressing, and this one is representing the network addressing. Because the limit is lying in between 10 to 127, 92 is lying between this limit. So we will say that this particular address, if it is encountered to you somewhere, somewhat for some reason, then you have to say that it is a class A addressing system, and in the class A system, the first octet is only reserved for the computer network. Rest of the whole octet was reserved for the computer networking. It was the earlier concept before nearly 30 to 40 years ago. This class A system was adopted in the computer network, but after that, when it is assumed that now the computer networking concept is spreading very frequently, very advancedly, then this limit 255 computer network is not sufficient one for the designating the addressing of the computer. So there was another advanced class B addressing system was evolved, and it says that these 4 octets were distributed like first two was the computer network. First 2 octet was designated for the computer network, and the rest 2 was the designated for the computer host. Host address is in the 2 octet, and the first 2 octet were designed for the, again it is 8 bit, it is again 8 bit, and when I am saying 8 bit, then you have to, again it is not important to mention again and again that 255 limit will again be prevail there. Exceeding to 255 will not be permissible at any cost while you are using the 8 octet system. So how will you decide that this particular address is belonging to class A or class B? So again, if 128 to 191, this particular number is been standing in this first octet, then we will, without hesitation, will we say that it is belonging to the class B addressing system. The rest one may be anything. It may be 1, it may be up to the 255 limit, it may also be 0, depending on the network addressing. And again these 2 octets are representing the computer host in a particular network. So this will constitute, the 2 octet will constitute the computer network address, and this 2 octet will constitute the host in the network. So how many computer network may be permissible in this class B network? 256 into 256. If you multiply these two, then this will be the limit of the computer network assigned using class B network. And again, the 256 into 256, this particular number will represent the number of hosts admissible in a particular network. So when the more and more computer networks were designed, more and more appropriate was evolved, then the need of the hour was to get the more computer network to more computer hosts. So the class B system was evolved. Again, it is also belonging to the class IPv4. So if I am saying 178.173.1. Suppose 79. So you will have to consider the first octet, and first octet is lying between the 128 to 191 limit. So again, undoubtedly, without any agitation, you can say that it is the class B type of network, and this 1.79 is representing the host address of that computer, the computer which is attached, which is connected in this network. So computer addressing is 178.173 and the host addressing is 1.79. This is the exact figure out which is to be designated for this particular addressing system. Now again, computer network were growing with the very commendable speed. So again, the need of the hour was to having the more and more network. Network was demanding more, but the computer hosting address is not so so importance was given on the computer network, computer host in the IPv4. So that means now before that each computer was giving more importance, and each individual computer was giving more, and the rest less concentration, less importance was given on the network addressing. But as far as the computer and networking was enhancing, the more and more network was evolving in the market. So the need of the hour was that the computer network was given more and more address, and the computer host was given somewhat less, because in an entire network 255 limit, having the 255 limit in a particular network as a host is sufficient and as the considered there. So again I have already told you that class C network was evolved because more and more network were considered. Now in the class C network, the first octet was reserved for the computer network, and the only last one octet was reserved for the host. It was the notation, it was the identification in the computer IPv4 addressing system as a class C network. That means in this system dot is there, each octet was separated by the dot. That means 256 into 256 into 256. If we get multiply the so many number of computers, so many number of networks were accommodated using class C network, and only the one particular, that means 0 to 255, that means only 256 total number of computers can be there, and so many network is, because now the concept of the network is evolving more and more fast. So the more addresses to be designated for the addressing system. The how to identify that this particular class C is there? So the first octet, it is start with the 192 limit. Already I have told you that 191 was the ultimate limit in the class B. So now the class C is start from the 192, and it is again up to the 223. If this particular number is lying in between this figure, then we can say that it is the notation of the class C network. Again, if it is 297 and it is 227, or it is 16, or it is 80, suppose. So this is a valid limit, because 191 is class C, representing C class C. 227 is a second octet. Second octet can be up to the 255 is the last limit. So it is adjustable over here. No doubt that it is not appropriate, because only the appropriacy has to be checked in the first octet only. Over here 227 is okay. 16 is again okay. It is again also representing the network. But the last one, the 80 80 number figure is saying that it is representing the computer address, not the network address. So this is the valid limit. So only the concentration has to be given, and if it is up to 223, then okay, again it is. But if it is 254, 224, then again we have to think again that this is not a valid C class of networking. C class networking is not valid because it can accommodate only up to the 223. These things you have to keep in mind always. So class C. Nowadays, recently the most popular while we are using the IPv4 system, the most recent one is the class C. Class C is very popular nowadays. All the website, all the computer network which was designed, all the website are designed having the particular DNS is entertaining the class C type of addressing. But again, class D is also there. Class D. In class D, all the four octet are being dedicated to the network. No host is admissible. All are representing the computer network. So that means, and each individual computer is considered in this particular system is network. If a particular computer is attached to the network, then each one computer will be considered as a computer network. No host is admissible over there. This is the general concept. Now, how will we identify that it is a class D type of representation? If the limit is 224 to 229, if the first octet number is lying in this range, then we will say that it is representing class D type of word. Rest of the maybe anything, it may be up to the 0 to 255 to 0 to 255, 0 to 255, anything will be, but the natural examination will be carried out at the first octet only. So this is the concept. Now, this class D is not common to the all people or private type of network. It is not usable. As per the government policy, as per the international laws for the networking system, the laws were, I already told you that it was, all the laws were laid down by the IEEE. So it says that this type of class D network are reserved for the governmental purpose, for the secrecy, for maintaining the secrecy, and without any hesitation I will say it is used for the defense purposes only, where the secrecy has to be maintained. So no particular computer cannot be not be connected as an intruders in this network. All the computer network is very secured one. So this particular, if a particular address is starting with this, then we will say that it is a class D type of network, and we cannot use it as a private type of network. We will not intrude in this particular networking system. So one can also ask me that 240 up to 255, this limit is again lying vacant, because I have already told you that first octet is 0 to 255 is admissible, and already we have discussed up to the 239 type of limit. Now 255 is this particular range. Where it will lie? What is the significance of this limit? So it is to be underlined over here that this limit is used for the futuristic purpose while we are using IPv4 wherever it will be useful, as per the policy laid down by the IEEE or the government, we will decide it. But till now it is lying vacant. No use, no commercial appeal for this particular range is being recommended. So class D is there. Class C was already we have discussed. Class C is the most popular one. Generally we are using all the websites are using in this particular class C type of network, class C type of the IP addressing system. Class B was the somewhat 20 to 25 years ago we will use, and before that nearly about 30 to 40 years ago we were using, because at that time the computer networking was not so popular, not so network addressing was so required, so only one octet was designated for that. Similarly, as the networking is growing, so the computer network addressing is giving dedication to the first octet and second octet and third octet also. And in the class T, because it is a secure one, all the octet was designated to the. So this was the concept of the addressing system IPv4. As far as the IPv6, it is a 128 bit system, and this is the futuristic purpose. So I can just give you an example, because in future we will have so many devices where everywhere we have to use the IP addressing. Everything will be controlled by the internet. IoT, you are see, I think you are listening this term very frequently, IoT, Internet of the Things. So everything will be depending on the internet. So all the things, all the machines will be operated by a single addressing system. So 128 type of this particular system was required for that system. That's why IPv4 is used for the futuristic purpose. Okay, again we will continue with the transport layer, and we will some topic which are not covered in this video, we will try to cover it in the next video. So till then, wait for our next video, and if you have any doubt, then please do comment, and we will have if you have any such thing that your question is really to be answered, that we will try to answer it in the next video.